back to another Josh K Guitar video. Josh here, as always, at your service. Please do click the like and subscribe buttons so you get the latest content. I'd like to delve back into the Mick Goodrick series today, getting back into the Shredders edition and the Note Finders edition. I'm going to go ahead and do a different line and do these on a different string than we did on the last one, but hopefully this will be helpful practice for anybody who's either A, learning to find their notes on the fretboard here, or B, trying to learn how to finger tap, because for me, I am not a finger tapper. I do not do this. It's not my typical wheelhouse. I just enjoy learning a new thing and trying to figure out ways that I can make that thing work for myself and maybe for some of my own music. So that said, let's get right into it. Here's the book. I'm going to go ahead and say like I always do, and like it says right here on the cover, batteries are not included. Some assembly will be required. For that reason, I won't be using tabs in this video, but I will be using my other guitar, which features my Fishman triple play pickup, and I can give you my fretboard. I can share my fretboard with you so that you can see what I'm thinking in my brain in real time as I'm playing it. The reason I do this instead of providing a tab or some kind of a resource to do this is because there's not one way to do it. You'll notice that I said I'm going to practice a different line on a different set of strings, and that said you can literally practice each of these exercises on a different string, and there's just so many different ways to do that. I don't want to do the disservice of anybody trying to learn this material of telling them this is how to play it, because to be honest with you, this isn't the only way, and there's so many out there, and I encourage everybody who does explore this to actually find your own, find something that works really well for you, and then explore that. So that said, the one other thing I'll say before flipping to the page for you to screenshot is to always be careful of the sensations you feel, especially in your fretting hand. If you feel any pain or discomfort, now's the time to stop. That is a good point in your practice where you've maybe stretched your tendons as far as they should go for today, or at least for this practice. So put the instrument down, rest for a little bit, and after a little while of doing all of this stuff, you will find that these stretches become less uncomfortable. You will feel less discomfort. That is when you know you win, and that's when you know you did the right thing. But otherwise, I don't want anybody to ever hurt themselves over exploration of material. It's only music after all. It's not worth hurting yourself over this stuff. But that said, let's get right to it. Let's get to work. Continuing Cycle 5 triads today, this time in C melodic minor. So that gives us diatonic chords C minor, G major, D minor, A diminished, E flat augmented, B diminished, F major, and back around to C minor. I'm going to be doing the second line here as a finger tapping exercise. I would typically also do a line of spread, but for finger tapping on one string, that's kind of just unrealistic. We need way more frets to be able to get all the way through this exercise. So that said, I'm just going to be doing the one closed voicing for today. But that said, go ahead and screenshot this page for your practice. I'm also going to blow up every section so you can see that really nice. All right, here's the top three lines. These are your close-in versions. And there's the bottom. So please screenshot each of those. These are the lines to practice. And again, if you only do one line or even just a couple of voicings per day, I think that's a really good, helpful knowledge expander. Here's the MSRP at the bottom. This is just the melodic series that occurs over the chord changes. It's often very scale-like, but what's interesting is where the notes fall and where they line up with the chord changes. So once again, here's the top. Screenshot that. Screenshot that. And there is the bottom. screenshot that. And practice those on your own time. Because like I said, I'm only going to be doing the second line of this. And I'm doing the second line because I did the first line in the last video. So we're just going to run right through that way. All right, so let's get to it. We're changing guitars. Again, so you can see my fretboard. I'm going to go ahead and use my third position. That's the middle pickup here. I'm doing that to give myself a little bit of a challenge. It might not sound as amazing as having my distortion on. But that's okay, because what I'm doing is I'm trying to practice my tapping skills. And what I find is the cleaner you can make that sound without any kind of distortion, reverb, anything like that, the better we can do. But again, I'm doing the second line here, so that's starting here with E flat G C. So that's going to be, I'm going to do that on my third string to start today. I did first string in the last video, so we'll do third today. And there's E flat. Again, if you're looking to find that, just count right to it. So here's G, right? It's always 2 frets to A, 2 frets to B, 1 fret to C, 2 to D, 2 to E, but I want E flat, so it's right there. Alright, so we have E flat, and I'm going to try and hit E flat and G with a hammer on. So there's G in the middle, and C up top. That's my tapping one. So there's chord number 1. We're going to be moving that to a G major. Now this is a big stretch. So if that's too big, you might just want to do and practice a slide like that. I am working on stretching my fingers. I have little tiny hands, so if I can do that, you can eventually get there as well. So to get to there, what we need to do is we actually need to move our tapping finger. This is on C here. We're going to move that down to B. And E flat down here, we have to move that down to D. Then our note in the middle, that's the tricky part, is leaving the note in the middle the same. Anybody can kind of get here. And then switch. But getting it really smoothly. Is pretty tricky. So I recommend you move one note at a time. That's the Van Halen trick. Right? That's a D minor. And then A diminished. Right? Then that's a E flat. And that's a B diminished. And that's a F major. That's a C minor. So let's run through all that. So we have C minor, then C moves down to B, E flat down to D. Then from there, to get to D minor, B needs to move down to A, right? And G needs to move down to F. D on the bottom is going to stay the same. So we were here. This goes here. That goes there. Then we have a nice D minor triad. Then here for A diminished, A is here. And these two notes on the bottom, they just move down 2 frets each. So D down to C, F down to E flat. So we get right. Then we're gonna get E augmented. Sorry, E flat augmented. E flat is here. So again, that's our middle note. That's kind of the trickiest one to me. So A needs to move down to G. And then C moves down to B. Right? So then we're moving that to B diminished. So B is on the bottom already. So E flat moves down to D, and G moves down to F. Then we have an F triad. So F on top stays the same. And this whole thing moves down 2 frets. But again, I like to move one note at a time. Then again, our middle note, that stays the same. F moves down to E flat. A moves down to G. Right, so all together, right, C minor, G, D minor, A diminished, E flat augmented, B diminished, F major, C minor. So hopefully that was a nice, helpful how to tap lesson and how to find your notes lesson and how to play triads on one string. If you found this helpful, please do remember to click the like and subscribe buttons. Thanks again to everybody tuning in and subscribing. It's fantastic to see you here. Welcome to the channel, and I will see you in the next one. I'm going to go ahead and play my way out.